Hey,
Hello.
How you doing, Mare?
Good.
Good. I am so excited to have you here and to have the opportunity to do this trainer talk with you before you head off to Washington State, my home state. Mare has been going through quite a bit, and I'll let you. Is your phone on silent? I should
Yes,
silent.
I just
Okay,
did.
I'll do mine in a minute when I can find it. But anyhow, we're so happy that we were able to get this time with you and to share your story with those that are watching here live around the world.
So thankful to be here. I'm
Awesome.
excited.
So I have a bunch of questions. I mean, I could talk all day, as you know.
We know this.
Specific, yeah, you know, this is so true. But about you. And so I have some questions. And then for those of you that are new to the Trainer Talks, the format is generally I'll start with some questions. And then you guys can be typing in your questions. And I'm sure Jess, everyone say hi to Jess.
Hi guys. Hello.
Jess.
She is our moderator today, and so she will be reading your questions aloud that you're typing in. And then, Jess, I assume you have some that people sent in early as well.
I do. I have quite a few questions. Yes.
Okay, great. You ready, Mare?
Always ready.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so my first question for you, and actually Eric came up with this question, and I thought it was a good one. So he said, so Meredith, you started in what military branch? We'll start with that.
The Coast Guard.
And how old were you when you entered the Coast Guard?
17.
Okay.
My mom had to sign the dotted line.
Really? Did you graduate from high school when you were 17? Me too.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I was 18. But
I had a couple more months.
okay, so
So-
you started school early.
Yeah. Well, like at that time it was on time. Now it's like late.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but
So wow. So you went directly after high school to the Coast Guard.
yeah.
Gotcha. How many months did
3
you have?
weeks.
3
Yes,
weeks even.
Yeah. Not-
Wow. So his question is, so you probably learned, and I don't know if you had discipline as part of a big part of your life before. Did you? Was discipline
It was
a big part of your
always-
life in high school and growing up? And
Not. I mean, my family's not military whatsoever.
yeah. Okay.
So it was not like, it was a little bit ingrained in me just the way I was, as my mom was always like, because I was talking about my own kids and I'm like, how do I get them to do homework? How did you get me to do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, you just did it. I didn't have to.
So you had self-discipline.
I just had the self-discipline, and then I saw a lot more of it when I was in the Coast Guard.
Oh,
Just
I'm sure.
how different it is from the civilian world.
Sure.
But yeah, that was definitely where it kind of bumped up a notch.
I bet. So how has that trickled over? Because you were still young and very impressionable. Our minds continue to grow and change until we're in our mid-20s. So I'm sure even if it was innate, that it became deeper after your experience with the Coast Guard. So how do you think that's transformed or trickled into your personal life from a work perspective and from a family perspective and just as a person?
So a lot of it's just like my loyalty, my drive to always, I can't leave a task undone.
Yeah. So you don't start it until you're ready to finish it?
Yes.
Okay.
And just that once I get involved into something, it's very hard to leave, or, you know, even the move up there to Washington, even though I know that I'm continuing to work, it's still, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I want to stay loyal. It's you know, I want to see everything through. I want to see where it goes. I want to, so.
You are seeing it through. And I love that about you, Mare. What about from a family perspective and, you know, well, let's just do this. I'm just going to let you kind of ramble for a minute. So why don't you tell us about your family life as much as you'd like to share, and keep what you want to yourself. Talk about your husband, anything you want to share, your kids, maybe pets, because I know she's got a puppy. Still a puppy.
No. Well,
Oh, never mind. So we're going to talk about kids.
I'll ramble on that one. We
Okay.
Unfortunately had to get rid of our puppy because he was not getting along with Cash, my youngest child. So our puppy decided that where he belonged in our family was between my oldest son and my youngest son, and that was where he decided to insert his dominance in the family. And so he was nipping and biting at my youngest,
And you weren't okay with that?
No. And we tried the dog trainer, and we tried all that. And
Yeah. So you did everything that you possibly could, just
tried.
so that you don't feel bad. I had to do that with a pet once too, and it's because I blame myself for this, to be honest, as well. You couldn't have done that in that situation, but I didn't do enough research, and I adopted a dog that needed adopted, and it was the same age as my dog, and it was the same size as my dog, and the worst case was that it was the same gender. And so Sandy, many of you know my dog, Sandy, she's lying right over there. Anyhow, she and this dog did not, we tried to train her just like you did. We did everything, and it was not happening. You know what? The final straw was that we had to pull them apart, and Brian got cut, and it was Christmas Day. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Anyways, so don't feel bad. It happens sometimes, and I'm sure that dog is in a home.
He's in a great home. He ended up in a home where he actually got adopted the same day as another dog that they could have been siblings. That was what was crazy. But the other dog was younger than him, and so it worked perfect. That was what he needed, and I was not going to be a 2-dog family, so.
No, I don't
was
blame
he
you.
needed that, and it worked out for the best.
Okay.
With the move, I'm thankful for.
Oh, no doubt, right?
It's gonna be difficult.
So, do you have kids? I already know the answer, but
yes, I have 2 kids. I have 2 little boys, 6 and 9. My youngest is Cash. My oldest is AJ.
Yeah.
And they keep me on my toes.
Yeah,
all the time.
I'm sure they do. And you have been taking care of them on your own. I don't like to say single parenting because you're not a single parent. You have a husband. He just is in the military, and he gets deployed.
Yep. So we had about 9 months where he was gone.
Yep. And when did he get back?
He just got back 2 weeks ago. He's already gone again.
Oh, right, because he had to head back up to Washington, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, but we went down and met him at the airport with our little signs and everything else. So boys enjoyed that, and it was nice to have their father back. And,
I'm sure.
Yes.
And so you guys will be moving. Okay. So we started. So her husband's name is JP. What's JP stand for?
James Paul.
James Paul. Okay. And he does what for the military?
He's a pilot in the Navy. So flies helicopters.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, he looks really good in his uniform. And when he walks into the studio, we're all like, if he's in his uniform. If he's in his civilian clothes, we're like, "What's up, JP?"
Just met him the other day.
Was he in his uniform?
No.
Oh, you should
I'm just
see.
giggling because I can feel that I'm giggling now.
Oh yeah.
It,
He walks in and he's wearing his
flight suit.
His flight suit. Yeah, and all of the girls, even the guys, are like,
Eric.
Yeah. Oh, Eric, you know it's true. Brian's like, oh man, he really does look great. Yeah.
JP's looking good today.
Yeah, he's looking good today. All Top Gunned out. Okay. Anyhow, so Mare, you probably don't even think anything of it.
It's so funny because he wears that thing. It's called a bag. They call it a bag. So I laugh because it's like everybody says that. I'm like, it's just a bag that's on. I'm like,
it says what he does though, and that's what it is. So, anyways, enough about JP. Okay, so he was gone most recently. Here's Sandy.
she had to come say hi.
It's fine. He was gone most recently for a 9-month stretch. Since you started working for Studio Sweat, this was his second deployment. And he was gone for about the same before that, or a little less, maybe?
A little bit less, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they all munched together.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I tell people all the time. I'm like, they're like, "Where's Brian?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, he travels so much. I don't know. So how was it this time as compared to last time? And how's your life changed when he's deployed? And we'll get to all the training stuff and stuff. Yeah. This part's cool.
This one was actually the easiest because the kids were older, very busy with all their sports and activities, and then busy with on-demand and teaching classes and everything else like that. So I didn't really get a chance to think.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's best,
and that was fine. It was all right. So this one was definitely easier, and knowing, unfortunately, that we were moving on the other side of it, trying to prepare everything along the way. So
sure,
definitely took my time, and it flew by.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know when you said he was coming home in a week, you were like, I can't believe it, it's gone. And when he was gone last time for 6 months, you were like, get back here right now.
Yes.
Your kids were younger, so
yes.
that was
different.
That had a lot to do with it. Okay, well, that's good. So for those of you that don't know, so we are located in San Diego. That's where we film our classes, and that's where our corporate headquarters is. And Mare is a huge part of that beyond what you see. So Meredith, talk about your role at Studio Sweat, how it began and how it's transformed, and kind of what your day-to-day is like.
Okay, yes. So I think it was a good thing that somewhere along the way I was like, oh, Kat, I can help with that. And my little, hour a week became a lot more. So slowly, Kat gave me more and more things to do with the on-demand side of it. And then at the time, Bethany was handling kind of both the studio and on-demand. And then she focused on the studio, and I took the on-demand role. And they say, the best jobs are the ones that you kind of create for yourself. And that's what kind of did with this job. Yeah. And developed into the on-demand support, and then also kind of helping all of the users and what their experience is. And so taking all that and saying, oh, hey, this is a great idea. Let's try and see if we can switch this because our customers want this. And it's just kind of developed into a full-time job. It's
mostly a full-time job. The good thing is that when we do offer positions like this, and like Mare said, it grew and grew and grew. So she actually started as a trainer. Well, let's back up even further. You started
as a client.
As a client, yeah. And I will tell you that, when we see potential in someone and they show interest, we're all over that like white on rice. Because at least, and no, I'm not knocking our instructors that came to us with experience at all, but our homegrown instructors, Mare W, Bethany, Brooke. So they all started as clients. And for those of you that are clients that hope to be spin instructors at Studio Sweat, hey, there's potential. There's hope. There's, Jess is like, me. Yeah, she's another one. And so I think the reason that is because you grow up almost in our environment, and we can coach you and train you to, and it's like the saying, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Exactly.
Don't have to do that as much.
No.
And then what I always look for in employees is things that I can't teach. I can't teach you to have a personality.
Exactly.
Can't teach you to have work ethic.
No. You can't teach the just personal too, like talking to people and caring. You can't teach that. And I think that's
and you
what
can't
helps.
fake it.
Yeah, that's what helps with our homegrown ones is they're already a known entity in there and people know them. And then when they just slide up and on the stage, it's kind of like, oh, I already know them. I, know a little bit about their family, or I know what they might like because I've sat next to them for a while, and I think it just translates really well.
It
does,
also obviously.
It shows a lot that we want to do that too. Right. I think that's great that we want to come in and, it's like, wow, that's a great thing.
Yeah. So I think so too. And I'm really glad that, that I took a chance on you and that you took a chance on me, and now it's we. Yep. And so as Meredith was saying, and this happens a lot too, I'll be like, oh, I'll see something in someone like Mare has an incredible background, and I'll let her talk to that in just a second. But I could tell immediately how sharp she was beyond just being a trainer. It's just like with AJ, I didn't find out. AJ was quote unquote just a trainer, and then she's like, oh yeah, I have a master's degree in what is hers?
She's an MBA.
She has an MBA, but she also has like a master's degree in bio.
You're
the biochemist. Yeah, you're biotech. So these are things that you don't find out unless you ask, and sometimes we don't ask for a while. But Mare is extremely sharp, and she picks up on technology and very quickly, and she's very good when it comes to interacting with people, as she was saying. And so we started off with just having her answer support questions, and just a couple hours a week even. And next thing you know, she's quickly within a year and a half to 2 years, I think she became the head of customer support. So if anything's wrong, you need to talk to this lady. So no, but she's very good at handling it. And then along with that, her role has morphed into it's kind of a two-part role, and she deals with customer experience. And we work together very closely on that. And you'll see Mare and I, we will sit in a room and we'll powwow and we'll whiteboard and we'll flow chart and stuff like that, and all in an effort to make things better for
the customers, better for everyone, better for their experience. We want them to want to come back and want to continue and want to hit play.
Yeah, that's true. I like how you said that. And then she actually even has a team under her now. So she went from just taking over answering some support tickets to having a team of her own. That's ever growing and will continue to grow as we grow. So, okay, great. I'm sure that we have a lot of questions that have come in, Jess. So I'll let you go, and I'll see. I do have a couple more questions, but I'll see if someone else has the same questions as well. So,
All right. Good
ready?
morning, guys.
Ready, Mare?
Good morning, Mare.
Good morning, Jess.
So perfect timing because we have a few people that just joined, and they are some people that have submitted question. One of them is Monique Gaudet. I believe I just said that right. I hope so.
You're doing better than me.
Hers was more, she had a comment. She wanted to say that, resounding is that everyone is saying how much they enjoy you and that they hope that even though you move, that they still see you just as much.
Yes, they will.
Because you're like, they compared you with Kat and Brian, that you're like their favorite.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
But she was saying that she didn't think she'd be able to join in because she's going to be on a Century ride. But it looks like she figured it out because she's here. She was just giving you kudos.
She rode really fast.
She did. She rode really fast. She's done. She's done.
So, Mare, answer that question just because, and I can't remember who it was, but somehow, by the way, if you're on our Studio Sweat mailing list, get off because it's going to be confusing. Okay, so Studio Sweat is for the brick and mortar facility that we have in San Diego. And so we sent out a note to all of our clients here in San Diego saying, Mare's moving, let's give her a proper farewell. But it's important to understand for those of you that are taking our classes from home, you comrades out there, you're not going to see any difference because we're not letting her go. Okay, it's not happening.
You guys won't know. The in-studio people will miss me on a weekly basis.
They surely will.
Yes, at home you will still see me at the same
Yeah.
regular time periods that we do every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so you will not know anything.
And then she'll still be an integral part of our on-demand platform and support and user experience. So none of that's going away. It's a virtual world, as you know. So it doesn't matter to us except for the fact that we'll miss her that she is in Seattle versus San Diego. It doesn't matter. And we have been filming her a ton lately, poor thing. And we'll fly her down. And we do that with other trainers as well, too. So there's several guest trainers that we actually bring in. And Mare, no doubtedly, will be one of them. So, okay. I can't remember where we're going. Oh, you're going, Jess.
Okay, so next let's go to Carrie. She is in Coral Springs, Florida, which I know you're familiar with Florida. She has quite a few good questions, so I'd like to try and ask as many of them as I can because they are fairly similar to a few other people's. Okay. One of them is she wants to know your thoughts on performing spin sculpt 5 days a week.
So I did for a while almost to that, like 4 days a week with my classes. I feel if you're going to do that day, week in, week out, that's probably a little much. You can mix in something else, a straight up spin, a spin core, or your boot camps. If you have already fried your muscles and your triceps are absolutely toast, it's not really the greatest thing to continue on to do another tricep exercise. So you can go no weights, lighter weights, those things like that. But hammering the same muscle day in and day out, it's not going to get you anywhere where you want to go. So,
yeah. No, that's really well said. And I've heard you give that advice to people. And I know I give that advice as well. It's fine. You can come in, but you need to listen to your body. And if your body says, for example, like she was saying, if you feel your triceps are really sore, you're not going to be doing yourself any favors to go all out with another tricep exercise. But you still have triceps are only going to be 3 to 4 minutes of the entire class. You got 56 minutes that you can follow.
So if you are just, this person loves to do spin sculpts, and I know we have people that come into the studio and only do the spin sculpts day in and day out. And I am, exactly that. It's only a part of it that you might be really sore and you're fine on everything else. And some I even know because of injuries. I'll be like, stay on the bike. I know this is all, all upper body, and I know your shoulder's not going to like all this. Stay on the bike for 10 minutes. That's fine.
Because we're going to be doing a shoulder set or something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. And then too, like she was saying, like, let's say that Mare is doing tricep kickbacks. And your triceps are fried. You can grab 5-pound weights and you can just get the blood pumping. Yeah. So,
so that kind of leads into the next question. They want to know what your personal workout routine is.
My personal workout. Yep.
I mean,
they always love to know.
I know.
This, yeah.
So I have been working out pretty religiously 6 days a week since my 20s. And right now I teach 3 classes a week. So I teach on Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday.
What classes are those? All no, 2 spin sculpt, 1 spin core.
Yeah. So Sunday and Tuesday are spin sculpt, and then on Thursday spin core, and in between on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I work out from home. I bought a bike, and before I moved, I was like, I'm going to buy a bike because I am taking classes. I take classes with all of our trainers. So it also helps me in part of my job and telling, hey, we got to fix this about the trainer. So that helps. Even,
that helps.
I'm always working.
Yeah, no, I take classes from home too, and that's where I pick up on things, coaching to these trainers that are filming, as well as things with the user experience.
Yes. So during the week in those, it's a little bit, I listen to my body for sure, because sometimes after my Sunday class, because Saturday is almost always my day off, Sunday I work out pretty hard sometimes, and Monday I'll be like, it's just going to be a straight up spin today, because
you do yoga too sometimes,
and
right?
I do, yes. And I try and fit yoga in with everything going on in my life right now. It's that falls off the plate a little bit more, but I try and do yoga once a week. That's always my goal. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday I normally do another spin sculpt at home. Yeah, that's what I like to do.
So you try to get your strength training in 4 days a week. That's what I'm hearing. So
yes, yeah.
Okay,
minimum,
and then on those other days, either
on those
yoga,
other days,
cardio.
some cardio. I also have an elliptical at home. And
she loves her elliptical.
Yes,
I
love
if
my
she goes to a
elliptical.
hotel, you'll see her
elliptical girl.
Yeah.
Do you like no hands it sometimes, or do you just always hands on?
I can do no hands. I have a
do
little bit of a different one.
I'm just wondering, how you get into it, you dance it out.
I've seen her. I've seen
I
her.
can see it.
When we've been traveling together, I've seen her just
cruising.
I just love it. You will never see me run.
That's why your arms. It's the elliptical.
I don't know.
So you're not a runner?
No.
Did you used to be? No. You've never been a runner.
Never.
You
been
hate
a
it?
runner. I hate it.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
I don't use the word hate very much, but
I strongly dislike with a zeal, passion
running.
Well, your joints will thank you.
Yeah. So, well, that's my problem when I do run. My knees, everything, just it feels it. I can do a few sprints here and there, but you won't see me go run like 5 miles.
No endurance running.
No, not at all.
So
I'm always when you run and Brian run, I'm like,
big crazy.
Go you.
Yeah, I've been running more, but the difference with my running now is I'm very, very careful to warm up, and and it's not just my warm up isn't getting on the treadmill and walking for 5 minutes. It's side lunges and it's gate swings and it's toy soldiers, and I haven't ever since I started doing that. I have not experienced any injury, so it's the key. It really is for me. Has been warming up. Meredith, Williamson, have you ever been out of shape?
That's what the next question is. With this, she wants to know. Granted, you said you've been working out since you were 20. Yeah, but she wants to know: have you ever been overweight, or have you ever felt like you needed to kick your butt in shape?
Yeah. So I started when I got accepted to the Coast Guard Academy. Before that, I had been playing sports, but nothing else. And you have a physical fitness test, and I was petrified. There was no way I was going to pass this thing because it is a 1.5 mile run in there. And
dang it,
can't skip it.
So my parents had no idea how to help me prep it, and my brother at the time belonged to a big box gym, and they were like, "Can you take her?" And they were like, "We'll pay for whatever."
Do something.
Yeah. And so he took me and signed me, and they got me signed up with a personal trainer, which I think for learning proper mechanics, that's where I look back and I'm so thankful to my parents for doing that, because they truly helped me learn how to squat properly, how to do, push-ups, those things that,
before I went.
That's so great. And that was
you had a leg up on other people.
16 that I started learning that. And, then
you heard it here, parents.
It is. I always am a huge proponent to parents when I'm talking to even my son's friends' parents and everything else like that. Make them learn early, because that's going to help them. But so I started then, and that helped me. And then in my 20s, I was about 30 pounds heavier than I am now.
That's what I knew that, but I think most people don't.
So that.
So was that in your? Sorry, is that my phone? Sorry. I don't even know where it is. So it's around here somewhere.
No, I still was working out, but intensity level was different. I was actually working out a lot more I've learned so much since becoming a personal trainer, and it's not the workout longer. That's
yeah, it's the how.
Yes, it's
the
how,
quality
because
over the
I used to
quantity.
work out for, in my 20s, no family, everything else like
Yeah.
that. I had the time, so I was working out 2 hours a day. 7
Was it your
days a
diet
week.
too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Diet. It was still good, but see, it helped meeting my husband, because then I was cooking, and before I used to cook, and I love to cook, and I was the only one eating it all.
Yeah.
And then I was cooking and had a husband to eat,
Yeah.
it was like had a boyfriend to eat and everything else. So that helped me, because I know I was eating way more than I should have been eating.
Sure.
So that truly did help. And then moving out here, actually.
So was that when you
another
lived in Florida? I'm just kind of talking to you.
I was all
because I
over.
knew you were about 30 pounds heavier.
When I graduated from the academy and I moved to Alabama, that was when like my weight just kind of started, just a little bit at a time.
Well,
so-
and it is what it is. If you look at the nation overall,
Yes.
yeah, Jess, you know
Very
this
true.
statistically. A lot of the southern states do have the most obesity, and a lot of it is diet related. So
Yeah, everything.
You just fell right in.
You lived on the water, and it's like I want some, like grilled
Fried
fish, but
craft- raw fish, I think
everything
it's
was
fried.
fried.
Oh, okay.
Everything was fried, and so that changed my diet from
Okay.
how I was, and then
When did you get it back? Because
because
I know, I know
living
you
here-
were when you even first came to Studio Sweat. You were as a client. You weren't.
I wasn't. I
You looked good, but you didn't look this good.
It was oddly enough, I'm one of those odd ones that lost the weight from having a kid. So, and it just made me more active and paying attention to food and things like that. So it was having my 2 kids that actually kind of like brought me down a little bit, oddly enough. I don't know.
What, are you seeing them all type in "I hate you" right now? Are there a lot of "I hate yous" coming in?
I know I'm truly blessed on that one. I don't know exactly how that
Yeah.
happened, but I also credit being here in Southern California with the amount of fresh fruit and vegetables and things like that. So that's played into part where there's not as much in the winter, it's like comfort food and things like that. That's not as much here. It's
Sure,
always-
that makes sense. Yeah, San Diego's a pretty fit city too.
Did you work out when you were pregnant?
Yes.
Okay, because there's quite a few questions, and
Yes.
I'm curious of
Yeah.
also. There's
talk
quite
about
a few people asking, because one of the ladies is saying that asked these questions. She says she's 5 months pregnant now, and so she just wants to know if you worked out when you were
always
pregnant.
that, caveat of make sure it's all right
Use-
with your
use
doctor.
your practitioner.
Yes, your practitioner. I lucked out, and my midwife was actually a marathon runner. So I was just like, she ran marathons through her whole pregnancy. And I was like, can I keep working out? She's like, yeah. She's like, you're fine.
Yeah,
And
you Miriam got a lot of grief from people.
that's the same thing I had, because at the time, through both my pregnancies, I was at one of the box gyms, and I had people actually came up to me and were like, you shouldn't be in here working out. Both of my pregnancies, I had been
Like, are you a doctor?
Yeah, I was just like,
And do you know my
Do you know
personal
my
Yeah,
body?
do you know-
Like,
yeah.
do you know how much I could go kick
Yeah.
your butt on that
Yeah.
spin bike right now? The elliptical?
Yeah.
I did
wanna
not make
race?
it through spinning on either of them. Both of them, I had to stop.
Was there something
Like
that got
10
in your way when you were on the bike?
No, it was only like 10 to 12 weeks, and I was like, 5 minutes, I gotta go pee.
Oh,
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Oh,
and I'm
hi,
sorry.
Sandy.
Yeah, I was jealous of Miriam when she was.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not fair. I couldn't even. I went to swimming through my first pregnancy, and then both of them, I was in the gym the day I went into labor. So
That's awesome.
I just, it's one of those. To me too, I had been at that level, so I just continued.
Yeah.
And
I think that's key too.
and I listened to my body. If there were times that my body's like, so I
Yeah.
just toned it back, and it was like I might go for a walk that day, and that was all. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, you just kept active. Yeah,
Yes.
I know that we've had people. One girl just very recently, she was in the studio the day after she was due, and I'm like, okay, never. It's none of my business. Do what you got to do.
Yep.
But I did have a trainer.
She just wants the baby to come out.
Yeah, she just wants
I'm
out,
done.
yeah. I had a trainer who I had to tell. I'm like, I had to tell her you can't teach anyway. She was a week over. She was overdue by 1 week, and she was still wanted to teach her spin classes. And I'm like, look, I just don't want your water to break. She ended up going into labor at the gym on the treadmill because I had kicked her off the bike at that point. I'm like, you can't. It's touching the handlebars, yet you're fully erect. Her name is Melina. She's amazing. She's crazy. Anyways,
And Monique corrected me. She said she's not going to make your live class Sunday.
oh,
But she's here right now.
Okay.
So she's
Got it.
century riding while you're riding.
Oh.
We'll be
sorry,
thinking of
Monique.
her.
Right.
Yep. We'll give you a shout out anyways. All right. What else you got, Jess?
Let's see. We have, Andrew, of course. We know Andrew.
We know Andrew. We love Andrew.
He said, given your military background, which you kind of answered this, it has always been part of your routine, but why did you get into spinning since you were such an elliptical?
I'll just point.
You're just going to point. It was you.
It was her. So I did briefly do some spinning when I was stationed in, that's the first place I started. I had done spinning randomly through gyms along the way, nothing that I absolutely fell in love with. When I was in Pensacola, it was probably the most that I did a couple days a week because I had a decent instructor. And then stopped when I moved. And then when I moved out here to California, and I took a TRX class with Brooke, was my first class, and absolutely fell in love with the TRX. And then when I was talking to Kat about coming to work, and she's like, well, what about spin? And I was like, yay. Okay.
You can grow in love with the spin or with spinning, can't you?
It was actually, I fell in love more with teaching the spin part than everything else. But when I started, I had really no desire to teach the spin portion at all.
Yeah, just more the strength stuff.
Yes, more the strength stuff, and that was more my wheelhouse at the time. The spin, I know, being on the bike, I never even thought about teaching it. I just go in there and listen to whatever the instructor told me to do, and I did it.
Yeah.
So that was a learning curve to figure out and do, but now I love it, and I don't it's actually pretty easy.
Right? No, you're a great instructor. I think I've told people before that we brought in that were good instructors, but they were scared to teach spin or they hadn't really thought about it. And I've said, you know what, you just need to keep trying because, and it's those that have given up after a few classes that you didn't give it enough times. You know, it's not easy, and teaching spin is not easy. The cueing part is probably the hardest, and knowing how to use the music and knowing.
And I will say sometimes our clientele in the studio, we love them all, but they can be a little vicious, and if they don't like you, they're gonna let you know.
Yeah,
but you gotta, and that was where some of ours that we may have brought in from the outside have not survived because they're not used to. We've had some that have left because I feel like they kind of got chewed up and spit out by some of our regular clientele that mean
they're picky.
They're picky.
Yeah.
So,
and that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I know that's one thing I was really worried about. Is I was like, man, I know that I've met these people and I've worked out beside them in the audience.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, oh, I have to go up there, I was like, oh man, all I was worried about was disappointing them. I was like, man, I just want to give them a good workout. I want to be excited. And then it was good. Thank God.
Yeah. We do have quite a grueling interview process, audition
going on a
process. Year. Yeah. And we train sorry, I spit a little bit. We train and we train and we train and we train more.
And she still trains too.
I do too.
I still get emails saying, hey, so you did a good job on this, but we need to fix this and things. So she's still training.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an important part of us growing and learning and making the videos better for you guys too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I learn every day is how much I don't know, right? And so not only do I constantly coach our coaches so that they are better, hopefully, at coaching you, but that's why I take other people's classes all the time as well. I pick something up that I like in all the Studio Sweat trainers classes. I won't say that about just any instructor's classes because I hate some people's classes outside of Studio Sweat. But we're always there to, and I look to Mare and some of our more senior instructors to help with, like Miriam is coming on as a new instructor, Jess is a newer instructor. And so I'll go to some of our more senior instructors that are really good, and I'll say, I need your help coaching Miriam. I need your help coaching Jess in that. Like AJ just went through a whole shoulder training with Jess because Jess was a newer personal trainer. She wants to teach spin sculpt. She's amazing. She's got the best personality, tons of energy, got tempo, everything. But from the perspective of training, one of the areas that and for good reason, that I want my trainers to be very well versed in when it comes to exercises and form our shoulders is a big one.
It is the number one injury in the emergency room that I saw for sure.
It is, and especially in adults. So yeah, that keeps on going and growing. So
Ellie just hijacked the thing. She's saying, Ellie just popped on and said she's the best instructor ever.
We love Ellie.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
We love Ellie. Ellie has her bubbly, Ellie's bubbly personality, you know?
You know what's so great about Ellie, though, is she, I will say, is one of the few instructors that I didn't give much feedback to. And that does not happen very often.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to be fair, she wasn't teaching sculpt. And I get super duper picky about sculpt. But with Ellie, she is just a freaking natural on the bike. She truly is. She feels it. She hears the beat. She uses the beat. She's fun. She's got good drills. Like, that was easy. And it's not always that easy. So Ellie, you are good.
Okay. So Ashley from Atlanta, Georgia, she asked, on a day when you don't feel motivated, how do you motivate yourself? What is it that gets you going, gets you like, oh man, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go. What do you do? Is it something you tell yourself, a mantra? Is it a drink? Is it a
day by day?
Is it like 6 burpees and you're like, all right, let's go.
Day by day. I'm going to say for the last year, everything has just been like, any times that I'm not, it's just like, you got to make it through this day. Tomorrow will be a new one. Okay. Make it through this day. For working out, I always do that. Like, give it 10 minutes and
then you're enjoying it.
Yeah. And give it 10 minutes, like break that sweat and go from there. And if you really hate it after 10 minutes and you aren't feeling it, then get off. I have never stopped.
It's the best. It's the best mental trick, like in the book. There's no question. I do the same thing. And you know, when it mostly is running, like if I'm like, I'll be like, you know what, just forget it. I'm only going to go 2 miles today. And then next thing you know, I'm generally at 4 miles. So I get that. So it sounds to me like the key for you is you don't let yourself, if you've said you're going to work out 6 days a week, you're going to work out 6 days a week. And, but at the same time, and I think this is important and something that, is worth recapping, that you, listen to your body.
Yes.
And so it's not like, you have, obviously on the days where you're teaching, you know what the workout style is going to be, but on those other days, you're listening to your body and doing what it says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. This week, Sunday morning, we did some leg work, and Monday or even by Sunday night. And I took my kids to Disneyland. So, Kat heard some of this that, you know, it was only going to be like, whatever amount of time, because we didn't arrive at Disney on Sunday until 5 p.m. And I was like, whatever amount of time they last. And it was like 5 hours later that I was dragging them out of the park. So I had done like 30,000 steps on my.
She's a step tracker, by the way. So, she loves tracking her. Remember in Chicago? Didn't we? How many?
We got like to like 30,000, I think, in Chicago.
It was insane when we were at the Fit Expo there.
So yeah, Monday morning when I got up to work out, because I knew that that's a part of my mental release. I was not going to survive a day in Disneyland with my 2 kids without a workout and a sweat beforehand.
Yeah.
It's called to de-stress.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Mommy needs this.
Mommy needs this. Boys, you can stay here and watch that TV. I'm going to be down there working
Plus,
out.
it's your time to like not think. I was actually just talking to one of our studio sweaters just lost their father. And I was talking to his wife, Shelly, about it. And they came to the studio and they brought it was Shelly's sister-in-law. Okay. So this girl's dad had just passed away just a couple days ago. And she hadn't let it go yet. And she came in and she worked out at Studio Sweat, which obviously is an intense workout. And she walked out and she broke down.
Yep.
And it's those endorphins, right? And it's just this release and the thing is you finally let yourself be completely and utterly distracted by Mayor W, probably, for an hour. And which is amazing. You can't not be distracted. Yeah. You can't think about anything else except for what you're doing when you're taking a Studio Sweat workout, right? In studio or at home. So I thought that was interesting. And it made me think back to when I lost my mom. And I remember the times that I would tend to break down on my own, because I don't break down when people are looking at me, would be in my car, like right on the way home from the studio. I would just like all by myself, and it was typically like right after that workout. So yeah, that's pretty important to us.
I love that you just addressed that. Okay, so this is a great question. Lisa wants to know, she said that you're quite the military warrior with your push-ups, and she wants to be like you one day.
So good. I do too.
Yeah. You and Rebecca, those push-ups, but yours are like pretty. Rebecca's are like, I'm Hulk. Yours are like Rebecca's pushing a hole through the wall or the ground. But she wants to know, how did you work up? Like, how did you get to do those? Like, why are you... Is it the military, or is it like...
I'd say that's where it started.
Say, hey, I'm doing 8 push-ups today. I'm doing 10 tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's... Well, I'll go more to what I did with pull-ups.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I built up to being able to do pull-ups, and that was on my own. The push-ups, when I started at the Coast Guard Academy, the way they do your boot camp, you can only do, I don't know, it's like 1 set, like, or 2 sets a day, and each week you add in more and more sets as you go. So that definitely is kind of where that probably started for me.
Progress.
It's one of those.
How about your form though? Because I will say, you have the best form of any of us, I really think, and it's not for lack of trying. And I used to blame it on my height all the time, but believe it or not, everyone thinks that I'm so much taller than her. She's 5'7" and I'm 5'8", and I'm actually closer to 5'7" now, so we're almost the same height. And so I can't really blame it so much on my height always, but your form is really good, and it's very solid.
I would say it's very solid.
Whereas Rebecca's are about speed and power. Yours are about
just consistency and like the pace that's my thing, is like it's the constant.
So pretty though. To me, you have a pretty push up. It's like
so pretty.
Yeah, it's so pretty. It's just solid. It's strong.
And I've done a lot of, when I was learning with becoming a personal trainer too, like the little tips and tweaks on things. And some of, like, my big thing is like I always twist out just a little to engage the lats. Yeah, that's a thing with me, and it keeps my elbows down, because I see a lot of women. That's probably that flare, a huge pet peeve of mine. And I see the elbows are up above, like,
to the side walls.
How are you trying? I don't even know.
And it tweaks your shoulder, that internal rotation as well. So
it's like push-up is about the chest, not the shoulder, so you want to be down a little bit.
To your point though, in the lats as well though, and the core.
The core,
yeah. So when I'm training too, I'll say, where's your hips? Where are your hips right now? Because that kind of leads that perfect push-up, in my opinion. I can train people on push-ups better than I can do them. But and then there's a build-up. We do have a vlog that people can that you can look to. If you look, if you just go to our SSOD articles under menu, or under Learn and Connect in the app. And then do a search for push-up. There's one that's specific to building up the push-up, which is a wall push-up, knees, or even then I think tabletop. I like
to do like wall to like something like this.
Incline.
The incline, and kind of continue to go down, because that's what I do with my clients. And I'll take them, I'll point them and be like, no, like off your knees, go to the wall. You're not there yet.
That's good though. I super respect that. But so what Mara was saying too is that, and I'll tell people this too, even when they're doing a plank, I love that you did that rotation, because the second you did that, my lats like engage. But
you always think about like trying to open a jar and thing like that. It's that little like twist out, and it brings everything kind of down. And from going like this, I see a lot of people do that. So trying to bring the shoulders down and away,
and so. Generally what she was saying was she'll see some people with their elbows to the side walls. And if you think about like a room, a rectangle, generally, I mean, the best push-up is where your elbows are going to point towards the back corners of the room. So not out here. And then this is more of a yoga push-up or a tricep push-up. So it's just this, and then you get there by planting your hands right underneath your shoulders and then doing that little turnout that she was talking about and engaging your lats. And I'll tell people my cues for planks even, which start in a push-up position, right, are, okay, engage your quads, engage your glutes, push your belly button, your spine. And then I'll say, and here's the kicker, the one most of you don't do. I want you to take those lats, put them down and back, put your shoulder blades in your back pockets. Now you're in plank position. From there, you should only be able to hold it about 10 seconds if you're doing it right.
You know, all the ones that are like, I can hold my plank for 5 minutes. And I'm like,
no,
I don't want
that's not
you
even
to.
good for you.
No, please stop.
I know that there was some business that we were partnered with, and they always had these plank challenges, and I used to be like, not this part. I'm not partnering with you on this part, because that all I'd get, and you'd see all these comments like, oh, I don't know why my back hurts so bad. I'm like, I do.
It was the 5 minutes of a plank.
Yeah,
Strong work.
Okay.
All right. So really quick, I want to tell you one comment because it's really nice. Tracy says that I love these trainer tips, and Mayor W and Kat were the first trainers that got me out of my rut and fall in love with spinning. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So that's why you do what you do, right?
Like,
because you love hearing that. Okay, and then
I love to help people.
Yeah.
And I know Kat and I are both on this. Like, I don't care how you get your fitness in. Just
get it in.
Just get it in.
And you're
Whatever that
so
is.
welcome.
And that's the biggest thing to me.
that's why I came in today. I was trying to catch your class, but I couldn't get down there. And then I was like, whatever, I'm going to go. All right.
You should have joined in halfway. We've been all good.
I know.
We're happy to do it. Like Meredith said, we're happy to help. It's a very rewarding job from every angle.
Yeah. I'm always just like, this is my job. You know, like, wow.
Even on days like yesterday. I'm just kidding. No,
Minus technical.
Tuesday might have been.
It's one of those days we were gonna throw that technology through the computer.
Yeah, it was not a good one. And then I filmed a class, and probably I'm gonna say we'll see how it turns out.
It's gonna be great.
So
She
it
was
one of the
angry.
more,
We got our butts kicked.
The class said they liked it, and it was tough. But yeah, it threw me a little bit with some technical difficulties.
It can when you have technical difficulties.
difficulties.
And they happen. I mean, we are constantly pumping out videos for you, but you know, we've actually had people say, why don't you put out more? And it's because we want our videos to be quality, and we want the user experience to be quality. So if we're just focused on quality, you're going to lose quantity.
Yes.
If we're just focused on quality, what's the use? No. Quantity.
Yeah. Some of it too is for us, like, we couldn't exactly, I know that there's other places that just film every class that might be going on.
Not every class is good though. Not every class do you walk away and you're like, heck yeah, that was good.
And
I can't imagine trying to film them all the time.
Also, something like I did today where I had circuits, and that's not going to work for somebody at home. We have different things. You know, most people at home don't have all the different types of equipment.
Yeah. We don't want to assume you do. We don't want you to have to spend a boatload of money either.
Yeah, because you can get a great workout. I just throw in different things sometimes to make it more exciting for those in the studio. And just because we have them.
So what
She's
happened?
bought them for us, so I want to use it.
So every year I ask them to send me their Christmas wish list of things that they want for the studio, and then I fulfill as much as I can. So what happened yesterday in your filming? The music, you had music issues, right?
I had music issues, so my music was not deciding not to play with me very nicely. So we're gonna work on that one and see. But it was a good workout. It was they liked it because it was different. Kat was like, "Can you use light weights so that anybody at home could use water bottles?" Yeah, and I think it was really good. It was I actually fell on beat on the floor for some things. So amazing, I know.
She doesn't hear beat
Did you
all
dance
that
it
naturally,
out?
but she does, but she doesn't.
That was there was a few comments that were like, that was kind of aerobic dancing.
See?
And I was like,
you just got to dance it out.
yeah. So then it's coming.
She's
Little wiggle in your shimmy.
Slowly but surely. I've tried to get Meredith out on the floor with me. It's actually, she's come before. Remember at the Fit Expo one time? She's a gamer.
I'll try it. I might not look pretty doing it, but I'll try it.
That's right. I appreciate that. Can I ask a question about your sports background?
Yes.
Because Brian told me that he's never seen a girl throw a ball like you. And
Like a spiral,
she
like
defines,
throw a football, or like a baseball?
She redefines throw like a girl. Because if that's true, and she's the definition of it, damn.
Thank Brett Favre.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started playing softball in like 8th grade.
Okay.
And played through the academy. And then I always loved to play powder puff football. I think that was probably
Oh,
what you
yeah.
were saying.
I like that.
Love
Were you the
football.
quarterback?
On times, yeah. And then when I was in my 20s and I was stationed at Coast Guard headquarters in DC, I played like, one of the 20-something sports leagues, and I played flag football. And there, a lot of times, because you had to involve a female through a certain number of plays, and they were just like, here, I was the quarterback, and that just like was the decision. So
how does Brian know you have a gun?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember when he saw me throwing. But
Was it when you were
a,
training him and he was being bad and you threw something at him?
and it may have been at a
fit
camp too, maybe, because we played football and stuff like that at some of the fit camps.
Yeah,
so
you said you have
if
quite a gun.
And now I'm just doing it because of my kids. I'm now playing baseball with my kids
get
and
it.
football with my kids. Yeah,
That's why you launch it as far. It'll take him a little bit.
When JP was on that tour, not the one he just came back from, I bet you played fetch with your kids a lot.
Go away. Now we're playing catch all the time because
That's
my
so
son,
awesome.
my oldest, is pitching, so I'm out there catching.
Nice.
You're like, one day you can be like mommy.
Yeah, if you're lucky,
Yeah,
maybe you'll be able to
maybe.
throw like a girl too.
That's
Okay.
awesome. All right. Jennifer Farnsworth, she said, I wonder this. I like that. I like when the way people
You can see the head
phrase
tilt. I
this.
wonder.
I wonder. Okay. Most of the instructors love to spin fast, especially Mare with her 2 up, 2 down. I've got to work on that versus climbing, because she's saying like she's good at climbing. Is there a trick or a way to work toward this? What is your
Towards
tip?
speed?
I feel like
Is that what you think?
we always get this question, and I'm always curious. And so is she, of what your response is. Of
It's funny because Bethany's the speed demon.
Yeah, I was
because her
gonna say
legs are
Bethany's
this big.
yeah.
Like, so it's,
yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
She can hold the 110 for like 6 days.
Yeah. Then I'm like, I want to go over there and put a little more resistance on. I do try not to hold that long at that speed.
you like 90 though.
I do. Yeah, I like 90 and probably 65 is my other.
Those are your sweet spots. My favorite is actually 70 to 85. So it's funny how all the instructors are a little bit different. Yeah. Okay, so to get back to her question though, she's talking about how can I work on my turnover? How can I work on that speed?
And I really don't have a great answer right now. Oh, I don't have.
You want me?
Yeah,
help?
please
Okay.
do. I would love help because I don't really have.
She
anything
just
to say.
does it. It's just like she
it's one of
throws
those
the ball.
I have.
Where's your gear at when you are at? I mean,
when I'm at that?
are you
It
like
is
at 80%, 85? Is it fairly heavy?
It's a flat road where I feel like if I'm above 100, if 100 to 110, I feel the road, and it also depends on kind of the drill.
Yeah.
If it's a sprint, I'm probably going to have a little bit higher of a gear so that I'm like maxed out when we're at the end of the sprint.
Yeah, it's
at, like,
super
30
intense.
seconds.
Yeah.
If I'm going for an endurance ride that's a little bit longer and I'm trying to hold 100, then my gear would be down a little bit, but there's still definitely gear on there.
Always.
And that's one thing.
Her
when
butt not wiggling.
Yeah, when I look out, and I had it this morning in the class, and I was kind of like, your butt better not be wiggling. If it is, put gear on.
You're
put
in the
gear
wrong
on.
place.
Put gear on. So I do have gear on there, and I know with our bikes it's hard to say exactly what it is. And I'll tell you when you're feeling the hill out there.
Yeah.
But I always like to feel, if I was on the road, on a flat road, that there's a little wind in my face, and that's where you kind of.
So that's a good analogy. I like visualizations like that. So the wind in your face, that's a good one. And then I'll tell people to focus on the turnover. So when you're working anything really under 85 RPMs, you're generally working more on power and strength, right? But when you get into the 85 plus ranges, by the way, anything over like 115, you probably have 0 gear on. So, and that's 115 for your cadence RPMs. That's what we're talking about. And it's okay if you don't have a cadence sensor. But so what I'll tell people to think about is, how can you increase your turnover? And you're always thinking about bringing that foot over the top, right? How can I bring that foot over the top? And if you literally use your mind to think, okay, how can I bring that foot over the top faster and faster and faster and faster? And you're just putting your mind and your body together. It's amazing how you can feel that speed pick up. So you always start with a nice base. Make sure you got a little gear on, a little road under the tire, like Meredith was saying. And then all of a sudden, just try to visualize that quick turnover. And you'll feel your dominant leg. You can see my right side taking over. And if you look at my hand, and this is just natural for me, right? That's what your foot should be doing too. So you're going around and you'll see right about 5 o'clock, you'll dip your toe Yeah. So Mary's showing you there too. And then that's about 5 o'clock. So this is your clock, right? Like there. Right before you get to the bottom, your toe should naturally dip. That's called ankling. Then right when it hits 6 o'clock, you'll start to naturally, or maybe not naturally, but hopefully you'll get there. Right after that toe dips, your heel should come down and you should drive that heel up and back towards your glutes. And that's where you're focusing on that turnover. So if you look up ankling, that's one thing that you can do, and just really focus on that turnover and that key, which is, people always say keep your foot on a plateau. You do for the most part until you get there. Then you have to dip the toe to get that full ankling rotation, full mobility. So I don't know if that helps, Jennifer. So.
And a little on mine now that we're thinking about it, but my brain too. I'll be like, and I'm sure it comes back to the military cadence, but I'll be in my head like left, right, left, left. Like that just, and it's a faster one when
she goes left, left, right.
Got it. I have yet to ever actually. It's gone through my head so many times, and I'm always like, was I speaking out loud? I hope not.
Probably.
I'm sure somewhere along the way I have.
Somebody likes the movie Major Pain. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. All right. What else you got?
Jeff Brower, he says,
Hi,
or he's
Jeff.
asking, what was the hardest workout for you in the military Coast Guard? Because he loves your workouts. So what was tough? Was it when you had to go run a mile?
Yeah, it was a mile and a half run, I'll say. And one of the toughest ones, I still remember, because when I was in flight school, and that's where I met my husband, you had a wood chip trail that, yes, your mile and a half was on this wood chip trail. And
talk about throw you in some deep sand.
Misery, because you always had the wood chips that fell into the shoes,
awful.
and you're trying to finish a time, and you're like, but there's a wood chip in my shoe.
I gotta get it.
Do I get it out, and then I lose time? But do I keep running, and then it's ow? So that was definitely I would say unpleasant.
So that was unpleasant though, and you hard because you hated it. What was the hardest, but that you liked?
It's
that's one that
you'd
I
be
wrote.
surprised at the actual fitness. We didn't do like workouts like we do with a spin sculpt. That's not how it's done. And it like I was talking about the push-ups, like you added in, we were allowed to do push-ups, sit-ups, and a certain amount of running, and that was what you just built on, those few things. And then we would do other fun games like the challenge courses, those things that were incredibly difficult. I would love to be able to go back today and do like the rope climb, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it when I was at the academy, the rope climb. And I would love to know if I could do it. So, but yeah, like the rope climb, the challenge courses. Yeah. They were fun, but it was, and it goes back to it had some running in it.
Yeah. It was the endurance.
Yeah. And it drove me crazy.
You'd probably kick butt if you went down.
I would love to see how I could do, because my roommate, this little like 5 foot, 90 pound nothing, and long distance runner, cross country runner, and she couldn't do the rope climb or anything else like that, but she could take a time deduction or addition, and just bypass it, and then she would fly through everything else because she was so little. And it was like, and I'm like,
and
dying,
she had that
like,
endurance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We've actually trained. We've had military groups come into Studio Sweat. I gotta say, we kind of wiped the floor with them. Brian just did the Murph challenge, and
how did he do? I was worried about him.
No,
just because I knew he worked out so hard right before that.
Yeah, he kicked.
He did.
He kicked butt.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So the Murph challenge was it's a military challenge basically that a lot of CrossFit gyms do. And Brian went next door to Optimum Training, our neighbor, to do the Murph challenge, and he had just finished, for those of you that took it with us, that 75-minute very tough spin and sculpt workout. And he walks over, and it's a mile run. Then you do 100 pull-ups. Then you do 200. No wait.
I can't remember.
It's 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and then another mile run. So mile run, pull-ups, push-ups, squats, mile run. And
is it timed, or is it just finish it?
It's just finish it. And
as fast as you can.
Yeah. And so he did it in about 45 minutes.
I'd be like, I'll just do 600 squats.
Yeah. But no, that's a really good time. And the reason, and he was basically in a league with all these people that they do pull-ups nonstop, they do push-ups nonstop, but guess what they don't do? Spin sculpt nonstop. So,
my husband always, when he comes back, and he's now gotten into doing spin, like when he deploys or
yeah, that's like so cool.
But
they got a spin bike on that boat.
Like, do they?
Yeah,
That's
they
cool.
do. They have
I called it a boat. I'm gonna
That would
get in
be
trouble.
so cool to have like a class on the flight deck. That would be pretty cool.
But yeah, they always, I mean, it's a lot of times it's a different fitness level.
It is.
And a lot of people too, unfortunately, in the military, they're like, oh, I have my physical fitness test in 3 weeks. Okay,
so they'll start
gonna work
good,
out.
right?
I'm going to work out now, like starting for the 3 weeks. So because it's, again, tricks of the trade, you can figure out how to
Get
do the
around it,
push-ups
yeah.
and how to do the things like that to
pass the test.
Yes, to pass the test.
Yeah, but the endurance that you build by doing the Studio Sweat and Studio Sweat on-demand workouts, it's pretty sick. It's pretty insane. And so that's why not only did he work out for 75 minutes, he worked out for 115, 120 minutes and beat almost everyone. Now, to be fair, he didn't wear the flak jacket.
Right. I would say I saw some guys wearing like
some of them, and that because he wasn't doing it to have the time recorded or anything like that. So, and that does add a level of difficulty. There's no question. But he was half the time of some of those other people. It was pretty cool.
Okay, Brian can run. I've seen him run. Like he just goes.
He can run. I will tell you. I know this isn't about Brian, but. When I first started training Brian, which is how we met, he was 60 pounds heavier, and I would take him on runs every once in a while. We'll run over a blue sky, and I'd be like, "Come on, buddy, you can do it!" Like he didn't start that way.
Right?
Yeah.
He built.
Yes, he did.
Up to that,
and now he just goes in there or goes out. I see him coming in from a run.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I see him come in.
Wow,
I'm like, good job.
No, I mean, yes,
yeah,
it's
we
true
both like to run now.
How much you can. You can truly build your
But
fitness.
we cross train. We don't just run. We don't just do strength. We do a combination of
and we don't just do spin.
And we don't just do spin. No. And we'll tell that's one of the questions we often get is, and one of the questions I know I got recently was, how much cardio is too much cardio? There's really no such thing as too much cardio in my opinion. It's, are you getting your other things in? Same with your diet. To me, it's not like, oh, well, how much, what shouldn't I eat? It's more to me like focus on what you should eat. And then if you eat, you know,
if you eat something bad, that's fine. As long as you counteract, don't continue and say.
Someone just said that they remember a spin sculpt where you were heckling your husband that he couldn't keep up
with
you.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, JP couldn't keep up with her.
JP couldn't keep up in a spin sculpt, and she was like,
come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, were you heckling JP?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I was person, and when he was home for the 2 weeks, and he came into class, I'm like, "Come on, honey, let's go.
You could do this. You can do this." Well, just imagine had he not had a spin bike on his ship,
and he was spinning when they were in some not so nice areas at like 115 degrees.
Oh, jeez, that's so awesome. Good for him.
He'd walk in, and they would like, "Did you just take a shower in your clothes?"
He's like, "Have you seen my wife? Like, I gotta try and keep up."
Try, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we only have a couple more minutes, Mara. So let's see if there's any other pressing questions that we can get answered, and then
there's some a couple last good ones. One is from Kara Christensen, and she said, "What has been one of your biggest challenges in life, and how have you overcome it? And what is your best memory of overcoming of SSOD and like being with us?" So 2-part.
So I'll just go to biggest challenge was even day one of starting. I was ready to not even ever set foot back in there after
at Studio Sweat.
Yeah. What Kat gave me, let me come in to teach part of the fit camp, and I chose. I don't remember. I'm sure it's probably me. Chose to use resistance bands, and not understanding that resistance bands are different. And I hadn't practiced on the resistance bands that were at the studio, and it was just disaster. And Kat came in and kind of saved me, and then we talked about it afterwards, and I went home, and JP was like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "I'm never doing that again." I was horrible. I was like, I was a mess, and it was like Kat had to save it, and it was disaster.
I don't even remember this. I'm glad I was able to help.
And so that's part of, it's a good thing it happened when it did, because now I always am like, I need to double check that this will work.
Prepare.
And preparing,
sure.
like I'll be writing a workout down, and then I'm
remember this now.
I'm like, hold on, I want to check that this is actually
you were trying to do
work.
a press. You were trying to do a
shoulder press.
Yeah, and then you tried to do the triceps, and I'm like,
which worked great on my resistance bands I had at home. No problem.
But ours are a little thicker and heavier.
So, live and learn, and it didn't go so well. And so, I was ready to leave. And then I think it was Brooke got sick, or Brooke couldn't do something. And Bethany was like, can you teach this class? And you were like, I'm petrified to let you do this.
but I'm glad.
And it went well.
Oh, good.
So,
good.
But yeah, that was definitely
a
huge, so you almost didn't even have me.
Well, thank goodness for Brooke getting sick. Whew,
Yeah,
that worked out great for us. Just
Okay,
kidding.
so then what is your favorite memory of Studio Sweat?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I know that I've always loved doing all the anniversary classes. Those just the fast pace that we have, and having all the different instructors in there and getting a little touch of everyone's personality. It's definitely one of my favorite things
That's cool, Mary. Yeah, those are really, really fun. Well, okay, I'm just going to ask this because I don't want to forget. And we're already 1 minute over. But you are very creative in your classes. As a matter of fact, when I talk about you as being one of our senior instructors, one of the things that I'll tell new instructors coming in is, and make sure you take Mare's class. And here's why I want you, one of the reasons, and I'll talk to, I want you to take Brian, and I want you to watch for this. And I want you to take Mare and watch for this. And with you, I always say she's very creative in her workouts. It doesn't mean that she's doing crazy creative, non-traditional moves or, anything like that. But your workouts are unique and they're creative. And I'm just wondering where you get your inspiration and what you think about when you're designing your workouts.
I do read a lot. I love to read, and I'll just be Googling workouts and things like that, and I'm like, ooh, or I haven't used that move in a while. But a lot of what I do, if I think you can take a look at things, I'll just say a squat for one thing, is it may be in every class, but there's something different about it. Or we're doing intervals, and then we're going to do reps, and it's just that your base is there and it's all the same. I just kind of pick out and tweak a little bit. So I do that with my personal training clients too. Is just they don't understand because they know what I'm just I love it that I never know what I'm gonna, and I'm like, yeah, but really it's all a lot of the same things.
That's where I think it's so creative. And some of the simplest workouts are often some of the best workouts.
Yeah. I just like to take and, it's that little tweak on it, so that your body doesn't know. And for me, some of it too is I would find when people would do the same classes, and when I used to take classes and things, still do, but before in my 20s, that was where I was like, I'm not going to come back to this class because we just did the same exact class
over and over
and over again. And I can't.
You would not be a good body pump instructor.
Yes,
you would hate that because basically they hand you a script and they say, do this and do this over, and I'll give you a new workout in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. That's some of the ones that I've learned along the way that are like that. Some of the other places that they hand you the script and I'm like, I wouldn't survive because I want to be able to. I also take, so some of what I would say inspires me is I look at my class list and say, ooh, I know that these 3 people have shoulder issues or hip issues. That move is not going to be good. So let's change it out to this, and I'll
work the same muscle group, just work it differently.
Okay,
that's cool. Okay, good.
So I have a question because I was thinking of this when I was talking to your husband, JP. What makes you sore? What is a move that you're holy Toledo?
It's my split squats. Love them, hate them.
Right. And because we did core, he came to my class and he actually said this was a tough class.
Yeah, he did.
But, and he was I was like, well, I'm curious, what makes her sore? And he's mentioned that, he goes, well, I think if she does core on the TRX.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious, what is it that you're holy smokes, man, my butt, my legs, my core?
Sunday, let me say, we did squats with a calf raise. And then at the end, we did a double.
Audrey, if you're listening, I'm saying, because I did those.
Yeah, I did them double time calf raises at the end. We did 20.
Oh, man.
And through Disneyland, I was like,
oh, well, thank God you went to Disneyland after, because if you would have just sat around after that.
So those things, weighted curtsies are another really good one.
That's
will get me. Yeah.
Bethany's nemesis is curtsy lunges. Yeah.
Yeah. The core, I'll tell you, and this probably alludes back into my push-ups because I engage my core. The core is one of the hardest things for me to actually get sore.
Yeah.
Even it used to be the TRX, but even now I don't know. It's something. So I'm like, I got to figure out something else. And that's part of the reason why I think I change up things, because I'm like, oh, I didn't feel that one much.
Yeah. We like to feel it just like you guys like to feel it too. So, okay, that's great. And then what do you eat every day, Mary? What's something that you eat? What's one thing that you eat right before bed almost?
Okay.
Oh,
wait.
I eat ice cream.
Somebody just asked, interesting. Sylvia?
Yeah, hey, Sylvia.
Wait, we need to make sure everyone heard that Mary eats ice
I
cream.
eat ice cream.
Like, that's her thing. That's her jam.
And Kat is?
Donuts. Yeah. But I only eat donuts
on
once
Sunday.
a week.
Yeah, she eats donuts once a week. I eat ice cream pretty much every night.
Are you like,
With,
I eat the whole little...
It's normally
pint or-
not a coffee mug this size. Okay.
One bigger.
That's a little bigger.
This is my husband's.
This is a warm-up.
Yeah.
A
This is a
normal
snack.
size coffee mug, and normally topped with Irish cream. That's my thing.
That sounds good.
But I mean,
She earns it though.
Yeah, I like.
It's all about
where
balance.
and I'm constantly kind of on the move, and most of my diet is fruits and vegetables. It's like almost always every meal.
You love meat too, though.
Yeah.
Girl
and
can
protein.
eat. I will tell you that. She can crush food. As a matter of fact, when we've traveled together, I'm always like, do you have food? Like, I need to make sure, because she
I get angry.
It's visible when she needs food. And I'm like, no, it's not worth it. It's 11. It's been 3 hours. Go get a snack.
Is coming.
Yeah. The Hulk is coming.
And then we go out to dinner, and then I'm like, "Are you done with that?"
Yeah.
Because I can eat
that.
that. I can finish that for you.
I can eat it. More.
Okay, what was your last thing? And then we got to sign off.
It's a great question. I don't know what the validity to this, but she said, were you bodyguard for a U.S. president?
I was a military social aide to President Bush.
Got it.
So I worked at the White House, and all of the events that they have at the White House, we have social aides from all the different branches of services. And so I was there anytime that they had, bill signings, any social activities and things like that. I was there, and either as like an usher, or also did, they have a receiving line with the president. So I would say, President, this is Kat Com.
Bush
things.
or W? Or
W.
I'll say which one. Okay.
I was going to say it has to be W,
Yeah,
because
W.
W. Yeah. So, by the way, that is her nickname, and I almost always
W.
just call her Dub. So
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's really important, just give me another one. Otherwise, we got to sign off because...
She's asked if the Battle of the Blondes class with Brooke was the reason you joined after that, if that was your clincher for you to...
Oh, no. As well
well before that.
I love that class.
Yeah,
though.
when you were in first studio.
Yep, Studio One, as we
Studio
call
One.
it, which was back in 2000. We were there 2009 through 2012 or 13.
Took my first class in there, and Brooke broke me for about a week. I was like, oh my gosh.
She's known for that.
Yeah.
Everything hurts.
That's so funny. Now you hurt
Then I
people.
came back.
We have a resounding of... everyone that's logged on is all first thing they say is how much they love you. So
thank you all so much. I'm so blessed and thankful to be able to do this and get to meet all of you. It's I don't know, so fantastic.
Makes
to have
the big
everybody-
world small.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
Well, Mayor, we're so happy that you're going to continue on with Studio Sweat and Studio Sweat on Demand, even up in the gray of Seattle. You guys, this is just the beginning of Mayor W with us, so don't you be sad. But give her a big virtual hug because she is about to go through a tough transition, and we know that's going to be hard, but we're happy that she's still going to be part of our life. So, Mayor, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you,
Mary.
me.
It was
Everybody
very
else,
interesting.
have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.